I've been waiting to talk about this stuff because this is just balls crazy. So let's give an overview of everybody. And Kirsche, I'll let you give everybody an overview of this one right here. So what's going on with Teslas?
So everybody is really mad that Elon Musk exists, and so they decided that the best way to vent their anger about Elon Musk existing is to set Teslas on fire both at the dealership and also in just random people's homes. So they've been attacking like random people as they're driving. If they have a Tesla, they have vandalized Teslas that have been parked in random places. And there have my brain is just not working today. There was like another thing I was gonna say about like the vandalism, and now I can't remember what it was because it was
Okay.
fucking weird.
Well, the point is that people are pissed. They're pissed that he's saving everybody money.
How dare you save people money?
That's right, and he's a Grazi. You know, he's one of the guys. He's one of the the Italian painter, whatever they call Hitler. So he's Hitler, right? And he's a Nazi, right? And as well as Donald Trump, right? This has been well established by everybody who is mentally deranged. But we've seen people literally keying Teslas like they don't know anybody. They're just walking by and literally keying all these cars, putting scratches on them, which is ironic because every single Tesla has its own security system.
Yeah.
So anytime this stuff happens, you know exactly.
All caught on camera.
It's all caught on camera. And then you have like this guy over here who was walking by and got arrested for keying a Tesla here, just kind of like walking over, like he's looking around, put some stuff on the side of it, got his little whatever, and he just felt, hey, look, I've done my job. He was going to the gym. I've done my job. Congratulations. And we got this psycho over here who walked up and just decided to hit the Tesla with his suitcase because he's like, here, so these people are walking around so angry at all times. I don't understand it.
I think it's a little fascinating because it's similar to the people who are just like, we have to have crazy strict gun laws, like nobody should be allowed to own guns because guns are dangerous and bad things happen. And it's like a projection kind of thing, right? Like they know if they had access to firearms, they would do something dangerous and not good with said firearm. So they project that and believe that everyone who would own a firearm would only own it for dangerous and, hateful purposes. And so these people, they like to project that their enemies are actually the dangerous, violent Nazis. But then time and time again, these people show that they're the actual ones who perpetrate violence. So they have to keep projecting onto their enemies the things that they actually do. And then they can say, well, I'm the good guy, so it's not the same when I do it. I'm doing it because I'm resisting and I'm part of the revolution. We're fighting against evil. So it's okay when I do this. It's not real violence like when they do it.
Well, of course not, because it's all justified. It's all justified because, hey, if you're fighting against the Nazis, then, hey, you're winning, right? That's where it all comes. And you see things like this. You got another person here in New York, Syracuse, New York, wrote, "This car supports Nazis" on the hood. Like this person, what do you know? They have
look
a mask
exactly
on.
like you thought they would.
Exactly. So they walked by and just felt the need to just write on a car because whatever. Now, keep in mind that 2 years ago, this person was probably all about Teslas and making sure that it was green, the energy,
because environmentally friendly.
But and it continues more as you got this. This one may be the biggest one of all, and the biggest, like, most crazy ass thing I've ever seen. This guy walks up, puts his fingers in his ass, and he smears it on. Like literally just kind of, yeah.
Ew! First of all, that's incredibly disgusting. But second of all, how is his gooch grease like so toxic that it looks like it almost strips a bit of the paint on the car? I don't understand this, man.
Ew, swamp ass! Ew!
Yeah.
Why? Ew!
Well, Blabs, you see.
Get that guy some baby wipes and like soap and everything.
Blabs, you see, they're mentally broken. That's why. You ask why. That's why, Blabs. They're mentally broken. It's crazy.
And like
Yeah.
people will gaslight you and say that like, oh, it's the far right Nazis who dehumanize, women and trans people and minorities, but it's like it's anyone basically to the right of Mao has been to a degree dehumanized over the last 10, 15 years. And when you get to the point where you've dehumanized these people, you've branded them as evil Nazis, you've branded them as like, it's okay to do violence against these people because not only are they wrong, but they're wrong to the degree that they are bad people who must be defeated. These people think that they're actually doing a good thing by causing harm to those that they view as evil. And when you have this dehumanized population that it is, basically okay to do bad things against, you're going to see this escalation, and you're going to see more and more people doing stuff like lighting these Teslas on fire, like vandalizing random citizens' cars because it's a brand of car they don't like. Only Nazis buy that car. How could you? And it's a depressing kind of point of view that we have gotten to this point. And like anything you say to sort of be like, we're the ones who have been victimized over and over again, you just get laughed at because they're like, well, you can't be victimized. You're white, or you're a man, or you're, part of the black face of white supremacy if you're not fitting one of their normal bubbles. Like, they just have a canned response that they've been taught to say to anyone trying to point out, like, hey, we're the ones being attacked. We're the ones being silenced. We're the ones being oppressed. And you guys have been holding all of the power in government, in education, institutionally. It's a strange cognitive dissonance where you can't talk about reality with any of these people because not only do they not live in reality, but they can't understand facts or evidence that you show them. They have their narrative, and that's all that they can parrot.
Well, they are parroting it to an extreme degree and taking it to next level, even to the point to where climate activists have got into the act, who once again 2-3 years ago were championing electric cars. They have gone to Tesla dealerships now and are spraying their shit all over Tesla dealership. These are climate activists that were championing this brand 2 years ago, but they're so broken. And by the way, how stupid do you have to be to go in and film this? Like, we see you. You're like, he's an 18-year-old kid. You got an 18-year-old they, them next to him. And they're over here talking about how it's the last generation.
Bro, is that guy a midget on the left?
I think that's a woman.
Please tell me again this is not a cult, It's unbelievable. And, we're talking of, once again, the Canadian government. All right, this is in Canada, of all things, of course, which Canada is just California and just above us. Right. And I know there's some base people in Canada, but it's, man. And then, once again, it's all the way out west in Hawaii. We got this dude going over here. And what's he going to do? He's going to go out of his way to do what? Walk across the street to just spit on a car. That's what he did. Like, he went. This guy had like freaking radar on him. And by the way, who is this? This is a white dude, the same guy who's the oppressor, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But he's one of the good ones because he's fighting on behalf of the oppressed people.
Good point. Good point.
You got to prostrate yourself on the altar of Marxism, otherwise you're part of the Nazis.
Blabs, have you seen this stuff?
I've not really seen all this stuff. I've seen like the key card and all that stuff. I've not really seen the spitting and the pooping stuff and the butt stuff. No, I try to ignore that. I find it incredibly idiotic, illogical, like extremely illogical. You are literally doing the things you are saying you are against. And it's like, how stupid or like how brainwashed do you have to be? It's almost like I kind of pity them that they're almost like so brainwashed in this. It's like, wow, you have been like done so dirty that you just can't even see like, what you're doing.
It's so flabbergasting to the rest of us that we're like, you must be stupid. But it's like, it's not a case of stupidity, especially when they film it. Because they've been taught, they've been propagandized to believe that they
Yeah.
are the good guys. They're doing the right thing. Why wouldn't they film themselves doing the right thing? Everyone will congratulate them. Everyone will look at them as if they're, part of the resistance fighting against the bad people. They'll encourage more people to join in and do it because they're taking action. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing as good little useful idiots, as it were.
Yeah, no, I can like totally relate to that because I went to college with some people that were getting like straight A, super intelligent, studious, like dedicated to education. Then comes like 2020 and they're posting on Instagram how like you need to be vaccinated and you need to like fight all this stuff because we are like it's almost as bad as World War II. The same person getting like, wow, straight A's and everything was all like, this is World War II, COVID and everything. I'm like, holy shit, brainwashing. Because like these people are actually like, they're smart, right? They get the A's, they study and stuff. They're just completely brainwashed. It's wild.
Completely brainwashed. It's incredibly sad. Because it's like,
Yeah.
whenever I think about people like this and I talk about them, I always wonder, how do you go about reversing this level of a propagandized person? How do you turn around the brainwashing? Is there just entire generations of lost people that can't be fixed, can't be helped, and the only thing we can do is try to make sure that the newer generations aren't as propagandized as what we currently have? And it always makes me think back to when Bezmenov said that, like, even if we started right here, right now, when he was interviewed in the 80s, it's still going to take multiple generations to undo the Marxist programming in the generations that they've already had and reinstill American values and the American point of view in those generations of American children. And that was the 80s, and we never started doing that, and it's only gotten worse.
Man, so true. It's crazy. But as you said, they see themselves as the victim, right? They're the good guys in this. And then they put out like analogies like this, where they're like, oh, well, I'm old enough to remember when MAGA boycotted Starbucks and Target and Disney and Nike and even burned jerseys and sneakers that they already paid for. But boycotting Tesla, see, that's the thing they don't understand about this, is what they're doing is not a boycott. It's arson. It's criminal.
Yes.
Not buying
and the people that were like shooting cans of Bud Light or like lighting their NFL stuff on fire, that was stuff they bought, stuff that they already owned, which we also kind of made fun of people for, because it's like burning your stuff isn't going to unspend the money you spent on it. Like, sure,
Right.
it is a symbolic thing, and at least you own it. But the Tesla boycott, you're not boycotting it in the same way. You're not buying. Well, one guy bought a Tesla and then destroyed it, that's a lot of money. But there was one guy who bought a Tesla and then destroyed it. But most of these people, they're destroying other people's property. They're going to Tesla dealerships and destroying the Teslas on the lot, which they'll be like, well, that doesn't matter because they're owned by Elon Musk and he has enough money. He probably has insurance, right? It's the same as the Summer of Love. And the Summer of Love, I feel like, was a test bed for how much these people could get away with. As much as we like laugh at the fiery but peaceful protests,
Sure.
nothing happened. No one was arrested. No one faced any repercussions. No one had to pay damages. People lost their lives during these things. And the overwhelming sentiment was support for the Summer of Love. You even had scientists and doctors come out and be like, these kinds of protests are more important than COVID, so they're not going to have to be beholden to the same kind of restrictions as everyone else. They even had like politicians and celebrities raising funds to get these people out of jail if they happened to be arrested. And since the Summer of Love went so well, they can now continuously escalate. You don't have to wait for a black guy to, get arrested and then die of a drug overdose anymore. You can just get mad at any kind of thing that's happening, especially if it's a Nazi that makes you angry, because that's righteous fury. You're doing the correct thing. And so now we have the Tesla dealerships, and I'm sure it's only going to get worse from here on out. I'm sure something like Trump's properties are eventually going to face something similar to this, if not them trying to find, because they made like a list of everyone who owns Teslas. I'm sure they're going to try and find like business owners who may have donated or voted the wrong way, and it's eventually going to just continue escalating.
People are obviously broken, and I can't think of a better example of this clip from The Daily Show. Did you see this clip that was where they were talking about this?
And they were like cheering for the domestic terrorism.
Yes. Let's take a look at this. Blabs, have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't actually. I know he kind of looks like discount Chris Evans.
He does. He does have discount Chris Evans on. By the way, Blabs, you are back. You're now.
I know. Yay! That's why I removed my 140p. Come back.
Check this out
Welcome
real quick.
back.
Jim, they're taking to the streets or the parking lots.
Tonight, the FBI and ATF now investigating multiple cases of possible arson targeting Teslas and Cybertrucks.
This dramatic video shows multiple cars in flames. Police say the attacker used Molotov cocktails. It's the latest in more than a dozen instances of arson and vandalism targeting Tesla.
The same suspect shot more Teslas with a gun. Tesla Cybertrucks were set on fire in Kansas City, and earlier this month, shots fired.
Isn't
at
it
a
like
Tesla
hella
dealership in
illegal
Oregon.
to fire a gun
Cybertruck.
like that in a like what's the word I'm looking for? Like an urban area like this,
just
like a
public
city
space
area?
like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1000%. You can't just go in and pop a cap anywhere you want. It is illegal. Yes.
They're like, but that's what I see in my TV shows. Everybody uses guns like this.
Right. But here we go right here.
Trucks
Just out
on
of
fire in
curiosity,
Seattle.
but what would happen if this a list of all the people who attended that screening, where they're all clapping? What would happen if their names got out there? They wouldn't like that very much, now would they?
Oh, that would be scary and dangerous and terroristic of them.
Right. Really, that's really harmful and dangerous of you to even speak like that, Blabs.
Yes, it's
Really
weird, right? Just
crazy.
wondering
This
how,
is-
like, if the roles were reversed, how would they react? I'm just curious.
This is one thing that makes me a little like upset as well, because there are people on our side who, when we're like, yeah, we're kind of sick of being attacked in this manner, so here, if you're gonna make a list of us, let's make a list of you. And then people on our side will be like, whoa, 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 you can't do that. That's not fair. We have to make sure we're doing things completely 100% fairly and without looking for legal loopholes, and we gotta do everything by the book, and it's like, I don't think you understand how warfare fucking works.
Right.
We might not be in like a traditional war with like actual fighting and, muskets and people tearing each other apart on a battlefield, but we've absolutely been in an ideological culture war for decades. And you're fighting against people that not only want to see you dead and broke and your kids brainwashed, you're dealing with people who are going to lie and cheat and subvert anything they possibly can in order to get you either killed or to submit to their ideology. You cannot fight them completely fairly. You cannot say, well, I don't know how legal that is. It's a law from hundreds of years ago. Are we really in war or an invasion right now? And the answer is yes. Yes, we fucking are. Like, stop pretending that we're in some sort of, like, happy-go-lucky, we're dealing with retards time, because we're not. We're not, man. Tim Pool was right all along, the Civil War.
Okay, but I want to take a step back to what you just said. The idea of if Blabs, you said, what if you just made a list of all the people who are
I mean,
in-
I'm not actually advocating
No.
for that.
Yeah. But let's just say, what if you did make a list of, say, games that had DEI in them? That's how we fucking got here.
Yep.
Let's back up to last March of last year, last February, whatever it was, when DEI Detected was launched and Cabrutus came under fire, and that essentially kicked off this Gamergate 2 thing here, because he just, all he did was say, here are the games that Sweet Baby Inc. made.
And he didn't even have to, like, go and, like, try to find this information. It was just publicly available on their website.
Right, 100%. It was all just right there. It was there. He just put it in a different place. That's all he did. And that was unacceptable. You were putting a target on people, right? And that's how we got to where we are now with all the fucking insanity. Obviously, with Gamergate 2 and everything. It's true. It's very, very true. But I want to show you the end of this, Blabs, because look, this host is, I'm sure he's reading this off. He's listening to this, but listen to what he says at the end.
Trucks on fire in Seattle.
Wow, you guys like petty acts of domestic terrorism, huh?
And that's exactly what this is. This is literally domestic terrorism. It's not
And
a
it's
boycott.
being celebrated on late night TV show that millions of people watch. This is not a resistance. These are not revolutionary fighters. These are people supported and applauded by those in power because they're being useful idiots for these people's, like, ideological goals. The ones on the ground burning these places down aren't going to see any semblance of power. They're not going to see their lives improved. They've been lied to. And that's not to, like, feel bad for them, because absolutely I do not. But it's like they're not intelligent enough to understand how they're being used, unfortunately.
It's honestly insane. It's insane to see. And the fact that they are so brain dead and so broken. You're right. I don't know how many years, like this just may be called the lost generation. We have the greatest generation. We may have the lost generation. And I think that's totally fair to call them that, because they're going to be wandering through life just like they're wandering the last 3 months, wondering, what the hell happened? Their entire worldview has shifted.
Well, that's why I ask, like, how do you undo the brainwashing? Because these people aren't going to let us just say, well, we're done with your ideology now, let us bring back American values. They're not going to go out without a fight, just like Trump's executive orders, right? They're not going out without a fight trying to remain in favor of DEI. They're saying everything's fine, especially in the private sector. You don't have to accommodate the executive orders. They're fighting it legally. They're changing language to try and make sure that they loophole around, the legal definitions of things to continue doing their work. These are not people that will just give up. And so it's like, if they're going to continue fighting, if they're not going to be able to, like, live and let live, as it were, like, just let me grill and play video games, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to come to any sort of consensus with these people? It's sad to think about.
And we all know many people who have been gone in and they've been broken. They have been broken, and they will never return back to sanity. I did want to close with this one last little clip here that I saw, and I think it ties into all this here. This is a clip of this person here. Apparently this person is big on TikTok. I did not expect for them to have this voice, but I
have never seen this Ramona Flowers.
It does look like Ramona Flowers, doesn't it? That's funny. Let's see what they them has to say. For kids, the next time the tells you didn't see that one coming, did you?
I was not prepared for that. Like, I figured it was a guy because of the hands. I was not prepared for that deep of a voice.
No, not at all. Not at all. He's
Remember, kids.
Sorry.
Oh my god, turned into a Decepticon.
He did, yes. Sorry, that was good stuff. Oh my god.
Remember, children.
It's like Bowser or something.
Let's go and see what this they them has to say.
For kids, the next time that somebody tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would.
My ideologies, thoughts, and opinions are fully in alignment with legacy media and celebrity culture, and that makes me a punk. Aligning myself with mainstream culture is so counterculture of me. I think what celebrities tell me to think, and that makes me so alternative. I am such a counterculture punk. Stick it to the man. God.
I just said, I've known many punks who feel this exact same way, and I think we all do, don't we?
It is actually crazy how they're just like, we are the counterculture by believing in everything that the corporations and the powers that be tell us to believe in.